Alrighty, guys, here's something that shouldn't be too controversial. I hope. Sometimes Vin Diesel just says stuff. Really odd stuff. That is not a controversial thing. He's been a part of the Fast and Furious franchise. He's been a part of a pretty public beef with Dwayne Johnson that's kind of been weird and all over the place, and I don't even know what to make of all of that. And he is Groot. These are all things that, aren't facts, I suppose, but, things that are pretty well known about him. Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel, who voices Groot. The guy who says, I am Groot, 3 times. Not 3 times, those 3 words. He says, I am Groot. Okay, great. And he does a very good job of it. I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from thinking that. I just, he's a very interesting figure in Hollywood. And the point of this, I'm not trying to go into the TMZ rumor mill or anything like that. The point of all of this introduction is to say that the other day, Vin Diesel, once again, said something very odd. And it has implications for the blockbuster movies that we usually cover, in particular, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So Vin Diesel went on social media, and I guess he was talking about a lot of projects that he either was going to make or wants to make, and he brought up, unsolicited, unprompted, brought up this MCU project that apparently he thinks everybody wants. I'm just going to read this verbatim, and then we're going to talk about it. So this is what Vin Diesel wrote on Instagram, I believe. Quote, Disney wants their Planet X, which some say is Marvel's most anticipated movie, haha. The film where Groot returns to his home planet. Okay, so first of all, I have to get this out of the way. He said haha, so yes, of course, he might be sarcastic when he says, which some say may be Marvel's most anticipated movie, except for the fact that he said things like this before, and there has been no indication in the past that he's been anything but dead serious about these kinds of things. Like, of course, everyone, wants to see the Groot movie. And look, I love Groot as much as the next person. He's a great character. The literal evolution of the character, going from Groot to Baby Groot to Teen Groot to, I guess, Alpha Groot is what they were calling him in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He's great. Great character. And Groot and Rocket was great. And James Gunn has talked publicly about the fact that if he had been given the green light, he would have made a Rocket and Groot movie, which ended up being a majority of the story, for Rocket at least, in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So there were some bare bones plans, at the very least, to make a Groot and Rocket movie. But again, Vin Diesel just says stuff sometimes. And it doesn't, I don't get any indication that, he's ever really ironic about things. He said a lot of things about the Fast and Furious franchise, like, oh yes, we're gonna make them and it's gonna be great. And it turns out that it's, it's crazy and way over budget and things like that. And of course the public feud with Dwayne Johnson. I'm not sitting here to disparage Vin Diesel at all. Whatever he says, whoever he is, obviously as long as he doesn't, harm people and whatnot. But if he just wants to be weird and quirky and say things, that's totally fine. The only reason I'm bringing this up again is in the context of this quote, because I don't know what to make of this. First of all, he says, which some say is Marvel's most anticipated movie. I have to assume he's kidding, but nothing indicates to me that Vin Diesel is the kind of person who jokes about these kinds of things. But okay, let's just say he's kidding. And he says Disney wants their Planet X. I guess Planet X is the planet where Groot comes from. So he's really saying that, the MCU movie, Planet X, I guess they would call it, which is, I don't know why you'd call it Planet X when, it's Groot, right? Probably call it Groot. But, he's saying, look, the MCU wants it, people want it, let's make this Planet X movie the movie where Groot comes from. And I just have to say, in no world is this movie happening. Not because people don't love Groot, not because people don't love Vin Diesel as Groot, not because people don't love the Guardians of the Galaxy members, but because it's just too much in terms of the quantity of the MCU right now. Maybe 2 years ago, they would have greenlit Planet X as a TV show or even a movie, right? Because that was the point when Bob Chapek was in charge and he said, more content. And if Vin Diesel had gone up to Bob Chapek and said, let's make Planet X, maybe he would have gotten it greenlit. Who knows, right? But Kevin Feige is back in charge. And it seems like now they're being very, very, very targeted with the kinds of projects that they're making now. We're starting with Thunderbolts. We're going to Fantastic Four First Steps. Ironheart is a vestige of the older regime with Bob Chapek. But it's, I'm hoping it's going to be good, just like Agatha All Along, I believe, was a vestige of the more content era. But it still ended up being pretty good, pretty solid. And then you get Wonder Man. You get Vision Quest. You get Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars, Spider-Man, not a No Way Home, Spider-Man 4, and then you get all these other projects like Shang-Chi 2, definitely has to happen, Black Panther 3 has to happen, Doctor Strange 3 has to happen, so we're getting back to the old cadence, right? And if Vin Diesel really wants to make a Planet X movie, I don't know, special presentation, I guess, because there's no world in which this happens. So I just thought it was weird and kind of odd, and I'd really like to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think about this? Because Vin Diesel did post this. He said, I'm going to read this quote again, quote, Disney wants their Planet X, which some say is Marvel's most anticipated movie, haha. the film where Groot returns to his home planet. It's one of the most baffling things I've really seen in a long time, and I don't know what to make of it. Maybe by the time I'm done recording this, we get confirmation that Planet X is the next movie after Avengers Secret Wars. I have no idea. So, guys, let me know in the comments down below. What do you make of Vin Diesel's comments? Do you think he's just being funny? Do you think he's just wishful thinking, putting it out there? Or do you think this is a serious thing? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below.